Welcome into a Rutherford Weather Update. It is the 19th of May. It is Monday, and Tuesday is looking like it could be one of those days that we need to be prepared for. From really early on to late in the evening, meteorologist Justin Bailey with us. And Justin, we're looking at the Storm Prediction Center outlook. This was 7 o'clock or so when we recorded this. And this outlook is level 3 out of 5 for severe weather, and this would be an enhanced risk with what we're seeing and what's coming together. I'm thinking we could be in this 3 out of 5. Could see an upgrade tomorrow, but this tells us that tomorrow could be a big weather day.
Looking like it's going to be an all-day event, and I have all hazards threats.
Well, let's kind of break it down a little bit. This is, first of all, the tornado threat. Um, this means a 10% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of wherever you are on this map, let's say Murfreesboro or Smyrna Laverne. So you can see we're surrounded by that, and the black dots or lines through that means the possibility of significant. That's anything from an EF2 and upward. So this is a pretty strong signal that the tornado threat is very real for the storms Tuesday.
They've been for other areas and several other states these last few days. I'm starting to become all too familiar with these hatch tornado days.
And we can learn a lot from that too, right? Because this is just the system progressing eastward, and we saw severe weather Sunday, severe weather Monday, and then Tuesday. So, I mean, this is the same system just moving eastward.
Yeah, I mean, we were both up last night watching tornado emergencies back in Kansas and watching those events unfold. And God bless folks impacted by those storms. And hopefully things calm down a little bit today.
Yes, indeed. So we need to talk about some of the other threats and then kind of look at future cast here. This is the wind threat, and there are, you know, 5 different categories here: 5%, 15, 30, 45, and 60. And this is a 45%. So this is what, 4 out of 5. It doesn't have the hatching for significant, which would be winds over 80 miles an hour, but this would indicate that we can expect some very, very strong winds, damaging winds with storms.
Yeah, this tells me there's a high confidence in a widespread damaging wind event with also the threat for significant tornadoes embedded in whatever storms are prefrontal or possibly embedded in that line.
This is the hail threat, and it is, kind of 2 on that level of 5 there. I did want to just kind of zoom in just a little bit to Rutherford County to give you a better look. You can see Laverne, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Christiana to give you a look, and we're right smack dab in the middle of all of the threats that we just went over. So sometimes we're on the edge, the county split, but not this case. Let's take a look at the HRRR model. We picked this up at 8 a.m. And when we're recording this, there's a severe thunderstorm in Nashville. That's what that box is. But Justin, this is showing a line even at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning out from Dixon to Parsons.
Yes, this would be the remnants of what's ongoing currently back in Oklahoma, North Texas, and out in Kansas. By tomorrow morning, it'll be here as a line of strong storms, possibly severe.
So as we take this into the future, that's 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and we were looking at this before recording. This kind of shows what you don't want to see on a future radar or a model here, because it's showing the characteristics of what we look for in tornadic storms.
Well, and what you're seeing is that what looked like a line of storms as daytime heating occurred and our atmosphere is warming up, it transitions into more of a supercellular structure.
So that's 10 a.m. Here's 11 a.m. We move it to 12 p.m. And this looks like a line with maybe a Boeing segment here, but you could have spin-ups within all of that, right?
And that would be your widespread damaging wind event if there's a bow echo coming through.
But if you look down toward Lawrenceburg and Waynesboro, you can see some of those storms also showing those characteristics or that kidney bean look and take it out just another hour. And all of those storms are beginning to look at that, like at 2 o'clock and then even 3.
And Prediction Center's latest update and discussion for us talked about after that morning wave of convection, there being a dry slot developing. And that would be a lot of dry air in the mid levels of the atmosphere that just kind of evaporate any residual cloud cover, which would induce a couple hours of pretty effective widespread heating, allowing air mass recovery and setting the stage for another round of severe storms in the afternoon.
That's what this model here is depicting. And by the time we get to 4 o'clock, storms to the west and to the east. That was your morning to the east. To the west is what's developing. And then by 5 o'clock, we have storms dotted around. They're not in like a line of storms, or like earlier, we're showing that Boeing line that could have some spinning segments. This is kind of an indication the model's picking up on some supercells, maybe.
That would be your afternoon individual discrete supercells. Each one would be rotating, having a possibility for tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds, and that would be your the significant tornado threat would probably be most confined to those storms.
So this is 5 p.m., rush hour, 6 p.m., storm still ongoing. Here's 7 p.m., still widespread storms all across Middle Tennessee. And 8 p.m., more of the same. By 9, it's showing maybe the eastern half of Middle Tennessee, and maybe by 10 or 11 o'clock, left with a few showers and storms. But we just went from 8 a.m. to at least 9 or 10 p.m. So this is not one of those events where you get a morning shower, storm, maybe a warning, and then that's it for the day. This is pretty much be on, I guess, aware of the weather forecast all day tomorrow.
It's a Tuesday. Most people are thinking, oh, kids are at school, but these decision makers oftentimes um, plan, do we dismiss early or hold kids at school to let this round of storms move through? With an all-day event like this, I wouldn't know how to advise those decision makers, and God bless them for having to make the decisions they got to make on whether or not to even have school on Tuesday.
Yeah, and another thing, Rutherford County is hosting the TSSAA Spring Fling, which is the state championships for baseball, softball, soccer, track and field, outdoor sports events, and this there are some people that are making some hard decisions, that's for sure. So, some notes from the National Weather Service, real quick. Morning storms are anticipated, but that's not the primary concern. They're saying it's a broken line of storms that develop around, just before noontime and afterward. And those could have isolated supercells ahead of that. And expecting the afternoon break, which could, you know, um, ramp up our activity. But they're also saying, we could, if we see a lot more in the morning, much more widespread, that could dampen. But that's a little bit different from what the SPC is saying. So definitely some things to watch, and some things that could change, that could put us on a better side of things.
Yes, hopefully, we've seen it before where storms go up to our south, and we just get residual cloud cover and a rain shield, and it kind of saps us from all instability and severe weather possibilities. Stuff can happen, but right now we're seeing some concerning signals for tomorrow, and it's definitely some high end ingredients coming together.
I would think, just to kind of put it in perspective, this is one of the higher impact weather days that we've had. I know early April, we had that week. That was a rough week. It was pretty much on the high end of things, and just a few storms back, but that was affected mainly more Kentucky, even though it was anticipated that we would have more storm coverage here. So there are some things that can change, but the fact of the matter is this could be an impactful weather day, which is why we're doing a video. We just throw up videos just to put something out there. All right.
We wanted to get it out there and discuss these things, especially with spring fling and other events like that going on, knowing how many extra citizens are or how many extra people are in our community right now that aren't familiar with Rutherford County,
Yeah.
and trying to get ahead of it. And I know as far as Rutherford County weather specific, I got to work tomorrow. You're going to be busy with spring fling. There's going to be some juggling and stuff going on our end as well. But we'll do our best to have these things covered for you guys and be on top of everything.
So, as we wrap up here, a reminder for those of you who've made it this far, you're a trooper, and be sure to help us out, spread the word. I know you have family members that don't keep up with the weather as much as you do, but this would be a good one to say, hey, just watch this so we know what's going on for tomorrow. And encourage them to like, subscribe, turn on notifications on our social platforms, especially YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch, because we would be live on those channels during the severe weather. And we try to go on and give kind of a heads up, but tomorrow may be one of those days. It's just a long day. We'll just have to wait and see. Any final thoughts, Justin?
No, I think that about wraps it up for us.
Well, very good. Thanks for watching here on the Rutherford Weather Channel. We'll be back with more updates as needed wherever you're viewing this video. Have a great evening.